Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare 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 Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Braja Janarandana Yasodhanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanacha Yamuna Tira Vanacha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Braja Janarandana Yasodhanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanacha Yamuna Tira Vanacha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Braja Janarandana Yasodhanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanacha Yamuna Tira Vanacha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajacharya Asto Tarasata Shri Sriman Vangre Se Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Dham ki, Shri Navadvip Dham ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Ganga Maya ki, Jamuna Maya ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shimi Guru and Shri Gauranga. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Purana Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishayasaya Lokasya Danyam Swasthayanam Mahat. Jai. Well, good morning. Kavichandra Maharaj said there's twice as many on the radio in those days. Now I guess they're online somewhere, all over the world, even around Vrindavan. Today is Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 84, text number 16 and 17. 16 is up there. Shri Munaya ūcuḥ yan mayaya tattvavid uttamavayam vimohita vimṛśya adīśvara yad īśitavyatām guda ihaya aho vicitram bhagavat vicetitam Shri munaya uvacha ūcuḥ yanmayaya tattva viduttamavayam vimohita vimṛśya yad īśitavyatām gudataya aho vicitram bhagavat vicetitam. Okay, everyone else? Yanmayaya tattva viduttamavayam vimohita vimṛśya adīśvarasyeśitavyatām yadīśvarasya guda ihaya aho vicitram bhagavat vicetitam munaya ūcuḥ yanmayaya tattva viduttamavayam vimohita vimṛśya adīśvarasya yadīśvarasya guda ihaya aho vicitram bhagavat vicetitam. Shri munaya ūcuḥ yanmayaya tattva viduttamavayam vimohita vimṛśya adīśvarasya yad īśitavyatām guda ihaya aho vicitram bhagavat vicetitam. Shri munaya ūcuḥ yanmayaya tattva viduttamavayam vimohita vimṛśya adīśvarasya yadīśvarasya guda ihaya aho vicitram bhagavat vicetitam. Ladies, Shri munaya ūcuḥ yanmayaya tattva viduttamavayam vimohita vimṛśya adīśvarasya yad īśitavyatām guda ihaya aho vicitram bhagavat vicetitam. Shri munaya ūcuḥ Mayaya tattvaviduttama-vayam vimohita vimṛśya adīśvarasyeśitavyatām īśvarasya gudataya ciraṁ bhagavat vimṛśyam. Shri Munaya ūcuḥ, the great sages said, Yat, whose, munaya, by the power of illusion, tattva, of the truth, vit, knowers, uttamaha, best, vayam, we, vimohitaha, confused, vimṛśya, of the universe, ciram, of creators, īśvarasya, chief, yat, the fact that, īśitavyatām, the Supreme Lord pretends to be subjected to higher control. Guda, hidden, ihaya, by his activities. Aho, vichitram, amazing, bhagavat, of the Supreme Lord, vimṛśyam, the activity. Translation. The great sages said, your power of illusion has totally bewildered us. Can you repeat that? Your power of illusion has totally bewildered us. The most exalted knowers of the truth and leaders among the universal creators. How amazing is the behavior of the Supreme Lord. He covers himself with his human-like activities and pretends to be subject to superior control. Purport by the followers of Srila Prabhupada. The sages have characterized the Lord's statements as inscrutable, duravayam. How this is so is stated here. His words and activities bewilder even the most learned when he plays at subordinating himself to his own servants. Then I ask also for the next verse. I don't know if should we chant this one or just read it? Okay. Aniha Anihayatad bahudaika atmana Shijat yavat yati nabejyate yata Vadyate yata Bomair hi bhumir bahunama rupani Aho vibhumnas charitam vidambanam. Someone else want it? Shijat yavat yati na bhajyate yata Aniha, exceeding no endeavor. Etat, this universe. Bahuda, manifold. Eka, alone. Atmanam, by himself. Shrijati, he creates. Avati, maintains. Ati, annihilates. Nabhajyate, is not bound up. Yata, as. Bhumai, Bomai, by the transformation of earth. He, indeed, Bhumi, earth. Bahu, many. Nama-rupani, having names and forms. Aho, vibhuma, of the Almighty Lord. Caritam, the activities. Vidambanam, a pretense. Indeed, the human-like pastimes of the Almighty are simply a pretense. Effortlessly, He alone sends forth His own self, from His own self, this variegated creation, maintains it and then swallows it up again, all without becoming entangled, just as the element earth takes on many names and forms in its various transformations. Purport: the One Supreme expands Himself as many without diminishing His completeness. He does this effortlessly, without depending on anyone or anything else. This mystic process of the Lord's self-expansion is incomprehensible to all but Himself, but the example of the substance earth and its manifold products bears enough resemblance to provide some idea. The same example is also presented in an oft-cited passage of the Chandogya Upanishad. Vacharam panam vikaro namadeyam mritiketyeva sacham. Earth's transformations are merely verbal creations of the process of naming. The substance and the earth itself is alone real. Srila Sridhar Swami suggests that this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam answers a possible objection on the part of Lord Krishna. How can I create, maintain, and destroy the universe if I am Vasudev's son? The answer is given by the words Aho vibhumnas charitam vidambanam. You are the perfectly complete whole, and your birth and pastimes are only an imitation of ordinary persons' activities in the material world. You simply pretend to be under higher control. Om Gana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Sunyavari Paschachade Satarane Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnave Vyo Namaha. Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaura Tushe Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giri Tat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurundina Tarane Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Ajaivame Visatu Manasaraja Hansan Prana Pranama Samaye Kapavata Pittai Kantabaro Danabido Smaranam Kutaste. Okay. We can see that Bhagavatam is very consistent. From the first canto, I was reading this one for the Janmashtami time. Kritavan Kila Karmani Saha Ramena Keshava Atimarchani Bhagavan Guda Kapita Manushaha, describing Krishna's appearance. The personality of Godhead, along with Balaram, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman tasks. So we're getting that same thing in this verse. He's covered over. He looks like he's an ordinary person. He looks like he's subordinate. But when he becomes subordinate, we heard yesterday, Yogamaya has to be there, otherwise Krishna couldn't have these pastimes. The Brijvasis or the pure devotees, they have to really think, they don't think Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but they're not against Krishna. Like ordinary materialists, they'll say Krishna can't be God, but they're against him. They don't think he's anything good. But so masked, even as a baby he was doing miraculous things, Putana and Trinavarta. And also we heard yesterday about all these loving exchanges with the older gopis, with the other young children, with the calves, later with the cows, with the older gopis, and then with the younger gopis, and then with the boys, all in Vrindavan. But then he had many other pastimes, acting like a king, acting like this and that, but he's always a Supreme Lord, and his energies are actually doing everything, but he doesn't have to worry about them. He doesn't have to think about it. Once in a while he has to correct agents, especially like Indra. They get puffed up, get out of hand, and he has to do something to get them back in line. But that's also his loving exchanges with those devotees. So we're very fortunate to be here with Krishna Balaram. And I think devotees are all quite aware they're not ordinary people. But we have all this understanding. This is where Krishna was doing all these wonderful activities. And all the Brijvasis, they didn't think he was ordinary exactly, but they thought he's a child. He was their child. When he entered the wrestling arena, all kinds of different people were seeing different things, the same. When people come here and see Krishna Balaram or Radhesham, they see different things. They're looking at different things, and some, and hopefully you can pray for me that we can see this as Krishna. Prabhupada could talk with Krishna, Krishna would talk back to him, but we can talk to Krishna also. When the day after the installation, in the morning walk, Prabhupada was especially blissful, jolly, because after so much trouble to get the temple open, it was such a relief for him, and he was so happy, and that so many people came. And he said, now Balaram is here, and if you're feeling trouble, you have weakness, you can pray to Balaram, he'll give you strength. It's spiritual strength. Balaram is physically also the most powerful, but the real thing is the spiritual strength. He's also Nityananda. He gives us the strength to carry on, to push on this international society for Krishna consciousness. I've been noting lately and reading in Prabhupada's purports how many times he says International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This society was created for this purpose, to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, to bring people to Vrindavan, to, basically to go out and interact and give the people Krishna. So he, not only miraculously wrote all these books, but he formed a whole society to publish them and distribute them and live by them, making temples all over the world, installing deities so that people can actually practice everything that's in the books. Very amazing accomplishments. So just to go over this purport, Krishna expands himself as many, but he doesn't diminish his completeness. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidat. Everybody knows it? Om Purnamadaha Purnamidat Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. So even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains complete. This is extraordinary. The only closest example is the sun. So much heat and light is coming out from the sun, we can't imagine. I heard somebody give a number, for 1 minute of whatever comes out from the sun could power this whole planet for millions of years or something. But we're getting only a little tiny bit of it. And all the heat and light and everything is actually coming from the sun, whether it's coming out from the wood or whether it's solar panels or, whatever, wind. And the wind is caused by the sun also. So we're creating now electricity, and then from electricity we get so many things. But it's all coming from the sun. The sun doesn't diminish. No one is adding fuel as far as we know, right? There's no, fuel. Nobody's bringing coal and oil or whatever. It just keeps burning. That's very close to spiritual. So Krishna, the Mayavadis will say, well, maybe he was one, but now he's divided up into many, so the one doesn't exist anymore. There's no more original. Prabhupada, like if you cut up a pie or a cake and you give out all the pieces, and you don't have the cake anymore, you just have pieces. So like that, Krishna has created all this universe, and then he's gone. God, whatever they say God is. But no, that's not a fact at all. For Krishna, he just keeps expanding unlimitedly, and nobody can know how much. I think the scientists, I forget the name, but they have a new telescope they put out in space somewhere, and then they say they're seeing so many more galaxies that are just like this one, supposedly, and there must be life out there somewhere, but so they're getting some realization. They could just read the Bhagavatam, they could come and study with us and find out much more, but they don't want to do that. They want to depend on their own senses. So Krishna bewilders everyone, even the sages, even the greatest sage, even Narada Muni was bewildered when he visited Dwarka. Krishna had 16,000 palaces, and he was home in all of them. There are many men with not that many wives, but now hundreds of wives, some of these Arabic kings and stuff. And the wife has a house and servants, but they don't have the husband home, only in one house he can be. And then other ones get envious, they get wondering, what's going on. When will I see my husband? He may stop by every once in a while. But Krishna is home with all of them. Then that in itself is enough. But then in every house there was different activities. And Narada was noting that, and just quickly going from one to the next. One house he's playing with his children, one house he's joking with his wife, he's having some kind of meeting, management meeting. Another house he's practicing fighting or something. And not only that, but it was a different time of day. Sometimes he would go from one house that was morning and the next house would be afternoon. Krishna is, none of those things are relevant for Krishna. He is time, so he makes it whatever he wants, whatever's for his particular pleasure, or for the pleasure of the devotees he's with. It just becomes, whatever Krishna needs. Effortlessly. He does this effortlessly. He doesn't depend on anyone. He doesn't need any help. He has all the demigods doing so many things to maintain the universe, but he doesn't need them, but he engages these souls. It's incomprehensible to everyone except himself. Inconceivable, achintya shakti. I give a lot of classes to kind of new devotees online. So many questions. Why did Krishna do this? Why did Krishna do that? No, he wanted to do it. Last night we were reading the third canto, and the creation of the Kumaras. So the first thing is that Brahma had to create self-deception and fear of death and ignorance and all these things. And I tried to explain, and then the question came, and why did Brahma do that? Why didn't he make everything nice? Why did he? Because that's what he had to do. Otherwise, it couldn't be in the material world. These souls, we didn't want to serve Krishna, and we didn't want to surrender to Krishna and be in the perfect world. So he had to give us a place. Krishna didn't want to leave the souls, completely nowhere. Want to give us a chance for reformation. But in order to get that chance, we had to come in the material world. And so Brahma also created Narada Muni and sent him all over the universe after teaching him Srimad Bhagavatam, and sent him to preach the Srimad Bhagavatam all over the universe. So he didn't only, try to cause suffering, but the material world means temporary. It means we're afraid of death. We don't know who we are. We're in the wrong bodily concept of life, and we have all kinds of conflicts because of it. The world is full of conflicts. Some refer to them as conflicts, others would say it's war, but because of different bodies or different languages or different religions or whatever reason, but it's all just an illusion. It's all what Kali, he just creates conflict. Even in ISKCON, we have this ISKCON resolve. Anybody heard of that? To resolve conflicts. So we have mediations, and they're very busy. It's amazing. They're the busiest ministry. So much conflicts over money. Now it's a generation gap in the temples. The old devotees and the young devotees, they don't agree exactly on many things. And we have conflicts. Of course, the bottom line is we're thinking, I'm this, I'm that, I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm African, you're Indian, and you can't tell me what to do, and I don't like the way you do it, and all these things. Because the bodily concept of life, we're not seeing the soul in everyone, we're not seeing even our own body, that we're not these bodies. It's one thing to try to understand, I'm not this body, but to understand that everyone else also isn't their body. That's why it comes up so many times. You're the spirit. What are we? Just the negative, you're not the body, that's not, very good. Long ago, there was one famous yogi came to my town, and my cousin was following this guy, so he took me to the meeting, and he did some kind of meditation, like you're not that body, you're not that body. And I got this feeling like I was just nothing. I really didn't like it at all, but I was thinking, what am I then? What is it? But they didn't have that idea. So they can come to that realization and give up gross sense gratification to some extent, get some mystic powers. But they can't go anywhere. They don't know bhakti. Until we know that we're servants of Krishna. Shivara Swarapoy Nichara Krishna Das. Everyone is a servant of Krishna. Some know about it, some know more than others, some are more busy with it. But most people, they don't know, so devotees are determined to try to inform people. You're a servant of Krishna. You're not that body, you're not, Prabhupada, if he was speaking now, he'd have to have a much longer list. Then it was American, Indian, after a while Russian, but now that we have such a long list for our International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we have to have a deep realization of unity and diversity. You can't have unity without diversity, right? We have a lot of diversity. We have so many different languages. I don't know how many translations are going on here. And Mayapur in festival time, there's so many translations going on in different corners all around, or somebody's got their headphones. But they're all hearing the same thing. We're all, just want to hear about Krishna. We want Krishna Katha. So that if we stick to that, we won't have conflict as much. If we have the spiritual vision, like Srila Prabhupada. Many devotees would, think they're really disturbed about something, and somehow in the old days it was easy to access Srila Prabhupada. And when they got in the room with Prabhupada, he'd say yes, and they couldn't remember any of their problems just by his presence, because he didn't see, he had the spiritual vision, and that everything's going to work out. Krishna has a plan. We don't know the details, how he's, he wants us to go back to Godhead. We know that much. He wants to take us back, but it might be a rough road. There might be many ups and downs, many bumps and bruises, many curves, because we get distracted all the time. We're not fixed up, so we get, like in India on the highway they call it a diversion, right? When that's a detour, it's a diversion. So we get diverted. We're trying to go to Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. What's the goal? We want a relationship with Krishna. We want to understand, I'm a servant of Krishna. How can I serve Krishna? Everyone can serve in so many different ways. Simply by chanting and hearing it, it's topmost service. But the temples provide us with so much service. And everything, it just depends on the attitude. We do everything for Krishna. Then we can all be working very nicely. So Krishna is not bewildered. Krishna is, but he acts completely subordinate to his father, and the father feels like, I have to teach him, I have to chastise him. At one point they told Nanda Maharaj, you shouldn't chastise Krishna, we think he's some, they didn't think the Supreme Lord, but they thought he must be some very powerful yogi or sage, or he's a demigod. And Nanda said, no, he's my son, I have to chastise. It's my duty. And Krishna likes that. We can't pretend like that, but, Krishna, why are you doing this to me? Come on, I'm a good guy, I'm a good devotee, I did my rounds today. No. But we can pray to Krishna to help us, and he will help us. And he wants everybody to come back to Godhead. And Prabhupada is promising, and Krishna is promising so many times, you will come to me. Prabhupada is promising. But we have to stay on the road or stick it out in spite of, whatever kind of difficulties. We don't have to get old to be struggling and suffering in these bodies. It's always a headache. When it's young, it has all these lusty desires and urges and, things we have to... And then when it gets old, it breaks down and still has the desires, but it can't even function. And it gets hard to, so many devotees apologize, I can't pay obeisance. I have 2 fake knees and 2 fake hips, and, but somehow we can keep going. We have many examples of unlimited determination. Everybody knows, like Srila Jayapataka Swami, he just says, I'm physically challenged, so I can't do this and that. But he does so much still. He's still, trying to do all the things Prabhupada asked him to do. He's got a long list. But Prabhupada asked all of us to do so many things. But the main thing is to cooperate together, serve Krishna, spread the holy name, work together. How can we spread the holy name? I heard the announcement yesterday, I think it was, only 600 people chanted japa. That's like every day. Yeah. So it's an amazing thing. And we have, very fortunate here, the temple leaders always come to Bhagavatam class. That's not ordinary, that's what Prabhupada wanted, but, and even though I'm giving it, they still come. So it's really inspiring for anyone who comes here to see that. And so we see, more and more happening, more guests coming, more easy way to give donations everywhere. Because many people, that's what they can do, that's the service they can do, they can give a donation. So we're going to make it easy for them. But many people want Krishna also, they want satsang, they want association they want sadhu sangha. So for us, the answer to all the questions is basically sadhu sangha, sarva shastra koi, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. One lava, that's 1 second divided in 11 parts, that's an inconceivable short time. Although in the Vedas, they have much smaller divisions. And it's listed in the third canto. Much more than the atomic clocks that people have now, and they have much bigger numbers for huge numbers, sizes and numbers of everything. It's all there, and Krishna knows everything. So we just try to serve the Supreme Lord, and He's appeared here in the form of Gaura-Nitai, Krishna Balaram, Radheshyam, and all the devotees. So I thank you for giving me a chance to speak. You don't have a sign here, like in Mayapur it says, stop at such and such time for questions, right? And if you don't stop, the seat...
What do they do?
I don't know. I think the seat will explode. Ejection seat. That would be all right. So do we have any comments or questions? Comments are welcome, actually.
Question.
It's a bit of a strange question, but in the Vedic time it seemed that when the princesses would be married off, they'd give big dowries and many times give like thousands and thousands of maid servants. And how does that work? Do the maid servants also get married and they have a different life there, or how does it all?
I don't know exactly. They sometimes have children, like Vidura, there's others. But those children aren't in line, in the royal line, but they evidently have the same father. I have no idea. These things are too much inconceivable, that, how great things were. And they may get their own husbands too, who knows, as things. But I wouldn't dare to try to say. No? You don't have any divine vision? Anybody? And that is something that has been turned completely upside down in Kali Yuga. That was, the Sridhan, that's called, the father gave the daughter so much, and it's hers. So much wealth, money, jewelry, everything, so that in case she ever needed in the future, she's taken care of. And if a man wanted to marry the daughter, they had some sort of a challenge they had to, right? at least in the Kshatriyas, but even in Israel they have these Druze people, they're pretty Vedic, and someone says, I want to marry your daughter, the guy says, okay, we'll build a house, let's see what you can offer my daughter. Now, the man comes and says, you give me money, I'll marry your daughter. This is how Kali Yuga is upside down everything. So we can't really make everything exactly Vedic culture. We can't have thousands of maidservants, and we can't have, a big war and killing at every wedding. Can you? Like Balaram's appearance day, so when it was a wedding, an inter-family wedding of, what was it, Aniruddha or something?
Yeah.
And
Rukmi
and Rukma, and it was Rukmi, and then it was his daughter that was married, and Balaram just killed him right in the middle of the whole thing, and nobody got it. It didn't disrupt anything. I just cleared it. We can't imitate the Vedic culture, at least the Kshatriya culture. But it's very interesting to read these things, and it's all really happened, and we see how much things have changed in 5,000 years. Mathura was such a super opulent city, even a few hundred, not even that long ago. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. I just one thing came up in my mind. You mentioned, and also in a verse is mentioned, Krishna is coming here to the material world, and he acts like a normal, ordinary human being who is controlled like the normal things. But you also mentioned that you heard from bona fide source, Krishna likes when elevated devotees like Nanda Maharaj dealing with him just like a small boy or according to their own ras. But when we see a Chaitanya he met with Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, Mahaprabhu want to offer them some you don't have to deal with me so humble way, please don't do this. But they still did this way. How we can understand this kind of relationships? If the Lord tells to us, don't have to do like this, but we still should be respectful, or can you speak a little about this behavior or these things?
I'm not sure what you said, but I mean when Sanatana and Rupa were so humble, and Lord Chaitanya didn't like that.
Yeah, he inspired them. You don't have to do like this.
Yeah.
Many times you want to hug them and things like that, but they denied it.
Well, of course they were his eternal associates, gopis, but this is Krishna, and there's so many rasas. And they're all very, very sweet and wonderful, and everybody's very happy. Every devotee with whatever rasa they have. So. With Lord Chaitanya, and so they were his disciples, and so he could tell them what to do, And they weren't always thinking either that he's the Supreme Lord, but with Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, it was almost all friendship, different types of friendship. But sometimes he took the position of the, supreme, exhibited his power or threatened his power, or he started giving benedictions to everybody. And it's an incomprehensible, inconceivable, these are the things we had to, that sounds like, to modern scientists, like some kind of cop-out. Well, you don't know, so you just say it's achintya shakti. But that means you know. It's inconceivable. It's beyond anybody's comprehension. How anyone can be the, in the prayers of Lord Brahma and stuff, there's just so many, it goes on and on and on. You are this and the original of that and the power of this and you've done this and that, without ever touching on these relationships. That's the awe and reverence. But everything is inconceivable. How anyone, the common people, they can't think that a person can be that. In Israel, one time I was trying to distribute the Krishna book. So one Jewish guy, he's puffed up young guy, and he grabbed the book out of my hand and he started looking through the pictures. And he found a picture of Krishna. See, he's a man, he can't be God. Man, get out of here, Like, I proved it now that you're wrong, that no man, this guy is a man that you're worshiping. And what is God? Because the Bible, if they would read it, it's quite obvious that God is a person, but they can't understand. They think it's something else, like all the Mayavadis, But it's Achintya Shakti, and if we don't accept the Achintya Shakti, the inconceivable potencies of the Lord, then we can never understand Krishna. But we can have relationship. We want to be servants. And no matter what rasa, the gopis, rasa, they're serving. It's just that they serve in many more varieties of ways. Someone in Shanti rasa, they're just serving, and then, in a friendship there's more variety, in parental there's more variety. Friendship is included, Shanti is included, and with the gopis, everything is included, so therefore it's considered like something higher. But it's all service. Jivar Swarupo Nichara Krishna Das. So Prabhupada told Swarupa and Sanatan, you're my eternal servants. I'm not Prabhupada, I mean Lord Chaitanya. You're my eternal servants. I've been waiting for you. And they immediately took, the order, go to Vrindavan. And they were already, studying Srimad Bhagavatam deeply all the time, so scholarly. But they didn't have direction until they met Lord Chaitanya. Okay? All right, so now it's 1 minute to go, 2 minutes before the bell rings. Anyone else? Yes. The hand up in the back. So much technology now.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Maharaj. It is said that we should hear the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis or with his queens also, because we get purified of our attraction for the illusory attraction in this material world. But because our consciousness is still covered by ignorance, so actually we don't really understand what means the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis and with the queens, because our consciousness is not yet qualified.
Yeah, we can't understand Krishna's pastimes with the cows either. But we can hear about them and get purified. But we have to hear from the right source, and the right balance. That's a famous, in Los Angeles they had that, it got called the Gopi Baba Club. And they were reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, but only that section in Niyata Lila, or I think Madhya Lila also, where it's quite intimate, And so they actually, when Prabhupada chastised, said, well, Prabhupada, we're just reading your books. What's wrong with that? I think you were there, right? Isn't it?
Right.
Huh? So I got it right? Prabhupada said, no, but it's like medicine. You have to take the prescription. You have to take everything. Not that you just take the one part, and this is the only part I like. It's just like the people that only read the 10th canto, only read the Gopi Gita or something. You're not going to understand anything then. You have to take it as the Guru gives it. And you may never hear about the gopis, but if you serve selflessly according to what the Guru asks you to do your whole life, you'll go there. Because that's how we get anywhere, is only by the grace of the spiritual master, not by our own knowledge. You know, we can't know very much, but not by our own endeavor, by our own interpretation of anything, but by selfless service. So thank you very much. Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai. Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Yeah, I don't want to eat it. And Gaura Prabhu ki jai.